And now, it's time for another episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. A show made by 12s from around the world, for 12s around the world. I'm Mosette, and here is your host and my dad, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Mosette. And welcome to episode 605, the June edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show, as we talk about the Seattle Seahawks. And hey, what can I tell you? Like June, we are just busting out all over. Wow, it is great to be back. It's been a long time, gentlemen. It's our 130th episode overall, which is just amazing. But before we start, of course, we want to introduce you to the panel, the posse, for this episode. First, from merry old England, there is the yin to my yang. It's Matt. Hi, Matt.
Good morning, Moses. How are you?
Oh, wonderful, Matt. How are you?
Well, we nearly didn't show up to this whole episode, you know.
Oh, why? What happened?
Well, because the invitation went out, obviously, as you know, and then we all got together, and Dustin is the champion, although everyone thinks he's kneeling, but he's not. He's just short, and I don't do anything for the national anthem because I'm British, so we nearly didn't turn up. So we,
almost half of us.
Yeah, but then I realised I wouldn't get paid, so I had to turn up.
So you got fined for nothing.
But you're not getting paid anyway.
That's true.
Oh shit! I'm out of here. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Matt. All right, hang in there, Matt. And also, oh look, there's our news hound, Will. Hi, Will.
Hi, Moses. How are you?
Oh, Will, fantastic. How have you been?
Well, apart from not getting paid either, I'm good.
Well, I'm sorry. I did give you all a raise from 0. And oh, look who's over there. It's Dustin. Hi, Dustin.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
We're doing pretty good. How about you?
Good. A quick little story here. On the way home, my wife and I were listening to the Joe Rogan podcast. Kevin Smith was a guest on there. And they were talking about how if you're even somewhat interesting whatsoever, you should go out and do a podcast. Like, doesn't matter. Just go out and do it. If you have something to say, go out and say it. And then I mentioned to my wife, I was like, I got a podcast tonight. That reminds me. She's like, oh, but they said only do it if you're interesting.
This is Dustin for the win.
Yeah.
That's like the old Andy Capp
it is
comic. I'm aging myself
Andy
terribly.
Capp.
But Dennis knows.
Man, Andy Capp, that takes you back. There's about 3 people listening right now going, oh yeah, Andy Capp. Hey, sorry. That voice right there is the guy from sunny California behind enemy lines. It is Statsman Mark. Hi, Mark.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, how are you doing in California there, Mark?
Well, actually, it is exciting somewhat. The Warriors have just tipped off about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, yes.
And
that's that basketball thing, isn't it?
It is. And, I hop on the wagon and, have the foam finger. No, I don't. I wish them.
Yeah,
they
but
were horrible.
for Mark, it's
TMI.
not the index finger.
TMI.
Oh, but, they were horrible for decades. It's a historical, if nothing else. But the other thing, Dennis, was, it's a fun show, I know, but, I just knew that the league had reached a new kind of tension point when Roger Goodell went to the podium after the policy and told everyone we had to think of something and think of something and think of something very fast. See, I knew it was totally... It had gone to a new level when that urgency and that conviction in his voice.
Hey, Mark, what if Richard Dreyfuss
was
the commissioner of the NFL? How would that sound?
You know what? Come back to me. I need time to prepare.
Okay. Character. We'll talk. I'll tell you what.
It's gone that far to where I have to change psyche now.
Okay. We will talk about that when
we'll revisit him later.
When we talk about the owners' meeting itself. It's not a bad idea. I'll give you time to prepare. If you have never listened to our show, Mark does the best Richard Dreyfuss, the best John Belushi doing Richard Dreyfuss in the history of any podcast. But let's get to this show, gentlemen, shall we, Fergie?
Let's get it started in here.
Ah, yes, let's get it started in here. This show is run like a real NFL football game. We have 4 quarters and even a halftime. Quarter 1's going to be news. And also, Matt is going to talk a little bit about the UK Seahawkers, and I have a special surprise we're going to talk about right before the start of the first quarter. In quarter two, the owners meeting, we'll talk about all the different rule changes that happened in the last couple of owner meetings, and we'll have a special headlines and punchlines coming up with the rules that didn't quite get voted in, so you want to listen to that as well. At halftime, it is the best Seahawks-themed play-along trivia game on the internet. It is 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia
Of the world.
Last time, our guest, Chris Cheney from Hawk Talk, won. So you're all up for starting a new streak. That's what she said. Quarter three will be Cliff Averill. We'll talk about Cliff Averill. We didn't get a chance to really talk about him and his impact retiring and his impact on the Seahawks while he was here. In quarter four, we'll talk about Brandon Marshall, what he might bring to the Seahawks. And we'll also probably talk a little bit at the end there about Earl Thomas as we move on. But before we start, please like, share, and subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Join our Facebook group, 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Special reason coming up here in a minute. Also, we're on Twitter at Seahawk Positivity. Email 12manfanjamshow@gmail.com. Also, we are uploading an audio podcast of our show. It's on Podbean. That address is the12manfanjamshow.podbean.com. We're also on iTunes. You'll find us there as well. And now, as a surprise to everyone, I have a special announcement. Yes, thank you. Okay, in addition, a new thing starting. If you join our 12-Man Fan Jam Show page on Facebook, starting about June 11th, which is this coming Monday as we record this, we are going to have our very first ever 12-Man Fan Jam Show Summer Seahawk Swag giveaway.
Ooh.
Yeah, here's how this works. I will put up a picture every Monday this summer of some miscellaneous Seahawk swag that we have at our house. Just, we're getting filled up with some stuff. The kids are getting older, little knickknacks here and there, things that I want to share with some of you. And so it might be, slightly used or not used, but it's been taken care of in a very loving and caring, borderline lover fashion here at the Casa Moses. And we'll put a picture up of this. And all you have to do if you want to snag the swag is to either like the picture or comment below it. Every like will get you one entry into the drawing. One comment will get you one like or one extra entry, but you can't have more than 2 entries. So, and then every Monday after the swag is put up, I will go on live on Facebook and I will draw the winner. And I'll have tell that winner to contact us at 12manfanjamshow@gmail.com. You don't have to do anything except like the picture or say, I want that or whatever. To be eligible, it costs you absolutely nothing. The postage is on us. It's really that simple. Even posse members are eligible, gentlemen. So you may also join in as well. So anyone on the 12-Man Fan Jam Show Facebook page. So if you're not there, this is a good time to go, maybe I should join that page. It's real simple. You join, we check to see you're a Seahawk fan, and we get you in, and you can win. All right. Now let's move on quickly to a few shout-outs.
Hey, can I do a shout out? Shout out.
Just a quick couple of shout outs. The last episode special guest, Chris Cheney from Hawk Talk. I noticed that he and his lovely wife just had a baby boy. This past weekend, Felix. So congratulations to the Hawk Talk family. Yeah. And best wishes to all of them on their baby boy, and that's just wonderful news. Congratulations, Chris. And also, a couple days ago, this last week, the voiceover of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, my daughter Mosette, she turned the big 17. So happy birthday to Mosette.
Man, we're getting
17
old.
I know. Yeah. 17 last week. You think you're turning? Oh my God.
Yeah, that's 01. Oh my God. Right?
I know. Yes.
Jeez,
yes.
No, forget about it.
she's driving now. I don't even want to talk about it. And then now for a special shout out to the UK Seahawkers from all of us, but especially from Matt, who attended the get together a couple weeks ago. Matt, tell us about your experience there.
Yeah, so every year the UK Seahawkers get together, and this year the event was held in Bristol, which is in the southwest of the country. So we travelled, a couple hundred miles across the country to get to it. About 70 of us turned up, and basically we get together. People that can drink a lot, talk a lot, talk all things Seahawks, talk all things non-Seahawks. We just get together in sort of like a big family, exactly the same as 12s everywhere else around the world, and just have a really fun time. So we all got together and we hand out our yearly awards. So we've got our lifetime membership awards that we hand out. We've got our UK Seahawkers of the Year awards, which this year went to our membership secretary, Michael Herring. Congratulations, mate, which is the Ian Smith award that we give out.
Wonderful.
And we also have an auction that we do. So we get together, and again, we get stuff that's donated from across the world. Just to say, it's not just UK Seahawkers. Actually, we had Dewhawk came over, T-Hawk came over from Florida. Mm-hmm. We had Nick came over from Luxembourg. We had a couple come over from Ireland. A couple came down from Scotland. So, you know what I mean? It's like a big, everyone comes over and gets together whenever we can. So that was awesome. But we have an auction that we do for two of our charities. The two charities that we've got this year is the UK is SAFA, which is the UK Armed Forces charity, and Archie Smile, which is a charity for supporting children with Down syndrome and their families. And we raised £1,800, which is about $2,500.
Fantastic.
So
right.
That'll be split between those charities as well. And as I
Nice
say, we
work.
get together and just have a good old chin up. We also did Coach Knox. We did a minute's clap for his to commemorate his passing, and also for Kevin Cadell, who was one of the presenters of American Football over here that passed away in 2017. So we do that too. So it was great fun, good fun over in Bristol. And
Wonderful.
We're already planning for October, of course, for when they come over to London. We've got a pre-game party that we're doing as well.
Oh, fantastic stuff. And I, for those of you who don't know, the UK Seahawkers are extremely huge group of Seahawk fans in the UK. And when I saw that the Seahawks were having a game in England, I wasn't upset when I found out it was a road game, because it's going to be no road game with these people. It's not going to be
a road game with us.
It's not going to be a road game at all. Trust me on this. I know, Oakland's popular. The Raiders are popular, but I'm telling you, there are so many Seahawk fans in the UK waiting to go to this game, and people going over for that game. It's going to be interesting to see just how loud that crowd is.
It's not just UK. To let you know, the German Seahawkers, who we're very, very closely affiliated with, they're sending over, I don't know, a whole Luftwaffe load of so, it's like 1944 all over again. I mean, they're just coming in to completely take over the west of London. So pretty much exactly like they did before.
Not quite a blizzard.
Hopefully you haven't got to rebuild it afterwards this time, but yeah, it's great.
Oh my god. That's some history jokes for you guys there, World War II. Oh. All right, on that, thanks, Matt. And congratulations, UK Seahawkers. Always been a big supporter of the show, and just a great group over there. Someday, who knows, may get over there and do a show from there. That'd be awesome.
That'd be amazing. I'm not up at 2 a.m. That'd be amazing.
Good
That'd be the best part.
It's classic that they're playing the Raiders over there too, of all teams.
Yes, it is. Very much. All right, well, let's get to this news. Yes, news from around the NFL with our News How Will. It's the 12-Man Fan Jam Show news report brought to you by this week's sponsor, the Mama June Deep Fryer. That's right. From the unwanted show about a drunk 5-year-old beauty contestant who was about as pretty as a tire fire and her half-brain dead mama comes a deep fryer that will let you put extra crispy batter covering over any food you want. Bananas, Twinkies, hot dogs, pudding, possum. Now there's good eating. Raccoon, pig bladders, you name it. If it's food or even if it isn't, it's deep fried in a batter in Mama June's fryer. Honey Boo Boo pancake mix sold separately. Will, what you got for us?
Okay. Well, first news story is about Lucas Patrick. You ever heard of him?
Have not.
Well, it's not all that surprising, given that he's played all of 12 games last season with only 2 starts. But he had a rather noteworthy play in the offseason. The Green Bay Packers recently had a charity softball tournament. And when he was up to bat at this tournament, he hit a line drive that shattered Clay Matthews' nose.
Oops.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those fluke things, Patrick said on Monday. Looking back after they put the net out, it just took one guy like me to hit the face of the franchise to realize that we needed the net.
Love it.
Nice.
So Matthews is actually going to have to undergo surgery to fix his nose.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Oh, no. I thought it was just a broken nose. Oh, no.
I didn't realize it was broke that bad either.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
So Patrick is about as popular in the locker room right now as Brandon Bostic. So
there you go.
I'll be the end of the so much for the celebrity softball games, I guess, unless they put a big old net over around everybody. Oh, I did not know. Oh, that poor guy. I saw it happen, and I know he broke his nose, but I didn't realize it was that drastic. Oh.
How to win friends and influence people.
Yeah, can you imagine the Green Bay Packers fans there? You know, because it's always a fun, festive atmosphere. Yay, this is great. Watching my... Oh, no. Oh, well, poor Mr. Matthews. And I hope he heals quickly. I don't know. ETA on that, Will, as far as the surgery and all that? Do we know anything?
from what I'm hearing is he's probably going to be ready in time for training camp, so he's not going to miss any significant time.
Oh, thank goodness.
We're gonna talk. We're gonna.
No, he's gonna sound like Steve Sweat when he sweat scenes.
He's gonna have that mobster hook nose like Ray Nitschke. Like he'll just see that he won't look like some pretty boy doing some weird things anymore. Yeah, like he's gonna look gangster now.
His next
commercial is gonna look like Owen Wilson.
Yeah, his next commercial.
Yeah, there you go. Like totally, he's an Owen Wilson.
Oh wow.
They could remake Twins with Owen Wilson and
Clay Matthews.
Clay Matthews is gonna look at Russell. He's gonna go,
Russell, I'm gonna get you so bad, man. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Should make fun of it. That's just I feel.
You know
bad
what they
for
should
him.
do? You know the do with him and and Aaron Rodgers. They should try and figure out a way to get that in one of those commercials.
Totally.
That would be awesome.
Oh, that'd be great. Revenge for Aaron Rodgers. Oh, that'd be funny. All right. What else you got for us, Will?
Well, Moses, my second story is about Dwight Clark, NFL legend, recently passed away from ALS, unfortunately.
Yeah.
His iconic catch back in the D1 NFC Championship game was over Cowboys cornerback Everson Walls, great player in his own right. A couple of years later, Kodak started using images from the catch in its advertising. They didn't tell Walls about this. And Walls didn't actually know about it until Clark came and told him. The thing is, since Walls was in the picture they were using, he was entitled to compensation for them using his likeness. If Dwight Clark hadn't told him about it, he wouldn't have known. And he ended up actually having to sue Kodak, Walls did, before he was paid for the use of his likeness in that picture. But he spoke very warmly about Dwight Clark afterwards. I really didn't know him, but Dwight didn't even say hi. He came right up to me with a sense of urgency. And for him to give a crap about if I got my money, I know a lot of guys, black, white, whatever, they wouldn't do that. That goes to show how in tune he was as a peer, and that gave me pause. Hey, this dude here is pretty cool. And the funny thing is, since he had to take Kodak to court and win a settlement, Walsh said that, quote, I ended up getting a lot more money than Joe and Dwight got for that campaign put together.
That's awesome.
Oh, good for him. And good for Dwight Clark. I've always heard a lot of great things about him, too. It's a sad passing that happened this week, the passing of Dwight Clark. I will, and I think they finally did admit, I think Joe Montana finally did admit he's throwing that thing out of bounds. I used to get so mad when I was little because they'd say, oh, what a great quarterback Joe Montana is. Look at this throw. And I'm like, he's throwing it out of bounds. Let's talk about Dwight Clark and the catch. Him catching the ball, not the throw.
How much did he get?
Good catch.
How much did he get? Well, do you know, number wise?
I did not. I did not see the actual settlement, but
We'll assume a lot.
A lot of money, probably.
Yes.
A lot of money.
Yeah, I'm sure it's plenty. Yeah.
Well, that's all. That's very cool. I love stories that come out when you hear about players talking to each other and that kind of thing. Saying, "Hey, you better get your money out of this too." That is pretty cool that Dwight would do that. Yeah. That's a.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I mean, that whole play. Dennis, you remember it, and I don't know if anyone else does, but I mean, it was to live in the area and people going bonkers, like people that were normally pretty well behaved church going, like a guy lit a brick of firecrackers and just threw it out in the street without even like it just people. That was like a Caddyshack. Hey, everybody, like boom moment. I mean, it was, even though I wasn't a fan, it was exciting to just witness like a real crap team. I mean, God, they were a joke.
They were.
And kaboom. It'd be like Indy, like when Indy won it, you're a Seahawks fan, but you're happy or it's cool to be in the area, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, heck, just watching the Washington Capitals finally win the Stanley Cup last night, watching Alexander Ovechkin skating around, screaming at the top of his lungs. It's fun to watch grown men celebrate like little boys.
It is. It is. And if you don't get the Caddyshack reference and you haven't seen Caddyshack, go.
It's near the end of the movie.
Rent it now.
Anyway, I don't follow hockey too closely. I'm glad Vegas did not win as an expansion team, even though I may end up living there one day. You can imagine that. But I'm glad the Capitals won.
Mark in Vegas will never get him back. Oh my God.
It will be an epic.
We'll never hear from him again.
It'll be epic. And on an epic note, Will, thank you so much for the news.
Anytime, Moses.
And that's the end of the first quarter.
It's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
Coming up on this very special June episode of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show, we talk about the 2018 NFL Owners Meeting and the rules that were passed. Meanwhile, don't you go change it.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
Holy shit, it's the second quarter.
So here we are at the start of the second quarter of episode 605 of our June episode. Remember, for a transcript of this episode and any episode of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show, take out a piece of paper and pen and write down everything we say. All right. In this episode, we're going to discuss the current rule changes voted on in the last couple of NFL meetings. The most recent meeting held at the end of May in sunny, beautiful Atlanta. There was one also held in March in equally sunny and beautiful Orlando, and we do that by playing Yay or Nay.
Yay! I say the nay!
Okay, yay or nay, here's how we play. The posse, or official NFL owners now, will vote on the rule changes that the owners voted for in their meetings. Gentlemen, are you ready?
Yes.
Yay.
All right.
I mean,
Issue 1. Football catches now. Control, 2 feet down or another body part, and football move. Matt, eat no sprat. Yay or nay?
Nay.
Nay, why?
I don't like the whole football move thing.
2 down and you're done. Is that what you're telling me?
2 down's enough. You caught the damn ball. He caught the ball 2 feet down. He's in bounds. He hits the floor. Down. Done. Job sorted. Catch. Caught the ball. Ball didn't touch the ground. It's done. Move on.
All your friends are dust in the wind.
Yay.
Yay. He likes the rule.
I do, because I like that they took the control to the ground out of it, because that thing just gets confusing and ridiculous.
All right. Silly Willy.
Nay. I agree with Matt. Football move means it's still subjective, means there's still going to be issues.
Oh, so it leaves me to kind of reset the whole thing here. I'm voting yay, so it's a tie. Break the tie. It's 2-2. Oh,
hi, everybody.
Mark. Sorry, Mark.
You know what?
That's because you represent the Cleveland Browns and don't count.
It hurts so bad. I'm going to shock everyone and say yay, because at least we addressed the catch rule in general, but they do need to change it. So did I just do a cliffhanger?
No, you gave us. You broke the tie. Well done.
I was trying to be out to that. I'll give it a yay for now.
Awesome. All right.
You'll give it a yay for effort?
Yeah.
At least
thanks, Mark.
They thought of something, although not very fast, but yes.
Issue 2, helmet to helmet. You lower your head to initiate contact, and you make contact with an opponent. It's a foul. League executives have pulled back on expectations that new rule will have a drastic effect on the game and assure players it will only be called in obvious and flagrant circumstances. Yay or nay? Mark.
Nay. Nay, but this is... you know what I hope this turns into is, wasn't there like an offensive hands-to-face rule? If running backs do whatever around the head, they're going to flag it. Yeah. They don't really do that all that much. I'm hoping that they actually can, I don't know. It's just all the vagueness, so it's a nay, but, oh, man. They overthink everything, like I do.
Nay for Mark. Who's got the power? Willpower.
Nay. I don't buy that they're only going to do flagrant fouls. I think it's going to be over officiated, like most rules in the NFL these days.
Nay, Matty, Bo Batty, Banana Fan, and Faux Fatty.
You just call me fatty.
No, it was the rhyme. I'm sorry. It was name game.
But yes, he did.
It's a nay. It's a nay from me. No, I don't. Honestly, what is it? Not a good game if it doesn't have a few concussions. Do you know what I mean? I just think the whole protocol. They've got doctors on site. Everything's there. They're wearing helmets for God's sake. Go on, smash into each other. See what happens.
Nay, Dustin working on his night moves.
I say yay. I like that. It's gonna have a trickle down effect, and it's gonna teach people that, or it's gonna have a consequence for people that don't accept that there's a different way to tackle where you can take your head out of the game. This will actually take your entire body out of the game if you don't follow the rule. And a lot of teams need to go to more of the rugby style tackling to where you don't have to worry about getting injured like that. So I say yay because it's a step in the right direction.
Dustin says yay, but he's outvoted 3-1, 4-1. I say nay. What's next? Bubble wrap issue 3. The kicking. This gets confused. No. Rule 3. Players can be ejected after replay. If they find on replay the players have done something illegal or immoral or whatever, they can be kicked out of the game after the fact. Matty.
I just think all this is slowing the game down even further, to be frankly honest. So I'm still a nay.
Matty is a nay. Will the thrill?
Nay. If it's not obvious to the people on the field right away that somebody deserves ejection, then it shouldn't be replayed.
Will says nay. Mark, Bobark.
Nay, because it's just, oh my God, this is the most ridiculous out of the 3. I mean, it's an absolute nay on this.
You haven't even heard the 4th one.
There was one?
Three nays, no yay. Dustin.
I'm going yay. And the reason why is because I think this will end up working in reverse too. Like when what's his face? Jeremy Lane got thrown out of the game last year for throwing a phantom punch. I think if it's reviewable to throw them out for things, it might be reviewable to be like, nah, that ejection.
Ow, the lone wolf. 3 nays and a yay. I also say nay. This is a game done by humans. I don't care about replay. Rule 4. That rule does not pass, by the way. A nay on Rule 3. Rule 4. The kickoff. All right, listen carefully. The kicking side gets no running start. They have to have 5 on each side of the ball. Okay. 2 outside the numbers, 2 inside the numbers. And I guess that 5th guy can be wherever the hell you want him, but he has to be lined up with the ball. There's a no block zone from the kickoff spot to 15 yards past this kickoff spot until it hits the ground or the ball is touched by a player, and no offensive wedges. You got all that? Will, yay or nay?
Yay, because it might work, and they need to cut down the number of injuries on kickoffs, or they're just going to scrap kickoffs together, and I don't want to see that, so I'm hoping this works.
Marky Poo.
Nay. Anyway, nay. I won't ramble. Nay.
Nay, because I feel like it.
Yep. It's just...
Yo, Matt.
Yay. For much of the reasons that Will has said, I think they need to get kickoff sorted out so that it is, a useful part of the game as opposed to being something which everyone's like, please don't put our best players in so they don't get injured, type of thing. You know?
Right. Maddie says yay. Ow, Long Wolf Dustin.
This one's tough for me. I almost want to say nay. But we have good returners, and this is going to open up lanes for people to return kicks. I like that. My problem I have with it is that the way it's set up with formations, it might actually eliminate the onside kick option because you're automatically lined up in a legal formation if you need to do an onside kick, and then at the same time you can't do anything for 15 yards, and the ball only has to travel 10 yards before it's considered a live ball. So
they had to have thought of a contingency for an onside kick.
Moses, didn't you say that only applies until the ball hits the ground?
I think until the ball hits the ground or it's touched. That's what I read.
So if the ball would hit the ground on an onside kick, so teams would be able to do that. I think.
Okay. Well, in that case, I say yay.
He says yay.
3-1. Let's make it 4-1. That rule passes. Can you imagine? Lock it with players that don't get a rain start. That's going to be awesome. All right. And, of course, Rule 5. Rule 5 that was passed, the flag rule. The NFL owners passed a new national anthem policy that they tried to tote as compromise. Players can stay in the locker room during the anthem, but if they are on the field during it, they must stand. If they do not, the league will find the teams. The teams have the option to find the players who demonstrate. And I know we could spend an hour on this, but we're not going to. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Yes or no? Yay or nay?
The flag rule, yay.
Yay. Mark says yay. Dustin.
I say nay, and it's because I'm this is another one I'm kind of torn on. The NFL kind of half-assed this one because they recognize it as a problem. If you want to eliminate a problem, just make it to where either everybody stands or nobody does. You don't just I think they should have just said if they're going to get rid of it altogether, everybody has to stand. Don't have people in the locker room. The conversation's not going to go away. It's still going to be the distraction they don't want it to be. And I don't know. It's not that I'm necessarily against people kneeling. I don't like that necessarily. It annoys me when people wear hats during the national anthem too. Just the whole military thing I was in, I deployed and all that. But at the same time, I understand the story behind it, so it's hard to not respect that as well, especially knowing that Kaepernick talked to Nate Boyer and all that, and that's where the kneeling came from. It has to do with the presenting a flag to a fallen soldier's family type thing. A lot of people don't know that's part of the story. They willfully they choose to not know that part of the story.
Right.
So I think the whole thing is just they dropped the ball. So just nay.
Willie.
Nay. Either work out a concession with the union to where the union gets on board with having all players stand, or play the national anthem before you even bring the teams out onto the field. Either way, it's no longer an issue. Doing it the way they did, they just poured gasoline on a smoldering fire, and now everybody's talking about it again, and the band played on.
Exactly.
Matt.
I'm a nay on this rule. Forcing a man to stand is as bad as forcing a man to kneel. Quite frankly, if there's an issue with it, take it out of the game. Take it out of the game.
I also vote nay on that as well. So Rule 5 is now a nay. And, believe it or not, there were actual rules that were not passed by the NFL owners that were brought in by one or a couple or whatever. And we are now going to share those in this episode's version of Headlines and Punchlines. Headlines and punchlines. Now we take a headline or we take a passage and we add our own punchlines to it. The headline for this edition is going to be among the rules not passed at the NFL owners meeting. So we found a bunch of rules that didn't get passed at the NFL's owner meeting. So I will start with Will. Will, are you ready?
Yep.
All right, Will. Among the rules not passed at the NFL owners meeting.
A petition brought by fans from around the world banning Chris Collinsworth from ever calling another NFL game again.
Not a Chris Collinsworth fan, apparently.
Not so much, no.
No. Hey, Matt?
There was a little-known ruling that got through that officials must give all rulings with a French accent.
Oh, that would be the Moses rule, I think you would
Olding.
Call that.
It's an Olding penalty.
Yeah, an Olding. Oh, an Olding penalty. Dustin, among the NFL rules not passed at the NFL owners meeting.
I'm going to start with my least favorite of the three that I found. If Super Bowl commercial is not funny, that sponsor will not be allotted a spot the following year.
That's a great rule.
I like that rule.
I would have been in favor of that one.
Not so much funny as very nice. We kind of like that one. For me, among the rules not passed at the NFL owners meetings, in hopes that the Madden curse would continue, owners were not able to get enough votes to put Donald Trump on the cover of Madden 2019.
Nice.
Dustin, among the rules not passed at the NFL owner meeting?
Aaron Rodgers' mustache will be banned. Should it make an appearance on the sidelines or the field, the result will be an automatic ejection of the player wearing it.
Yeah, and that porn stash got to go.
That thing was hideous last year.
It was. Among the rules not passed, the NFL owners mean anyone sacking Tom Brady must provide a pillow for him to lay on as you drag him down.
Nice.
Among the rules not passed in the NFL owner meeting, Dustin?
Similar to one that Will found, any fan that starts an online petition to have any commentators banned from calling their team's games will only be allowed to watch games those commentators are calling.
Oh, that's cold. That's Ice World. Among the NFL rules not passed by the NFL owner means a kicker hitting the pole on a field goal attempt shall be awarded a point for difficulty. I've always said that. That is harder than getting the field goal. He should get a point for that. It could be like the CFL when they get a touchback. All right.
Like pinball, if it hits like the upright and like the crossbar, that's 2 points.
Well, there's a rule. There's a real rule that gets proposed each year, saying that a kickoff that travels through the uprights would score 1 point.
I'm glad that doesn't work.
Baltimore keeps putting it forward.
Yeah,
it never gets any
imagine.
votes.
You know why? A rule not passed at the NFL owners meeting. All NFL officials can now use segues in the fourth quarter if they're tired, which they run a lot, and I can see that. And finally, among the rules not passed, the NFL owners means Jerry Jones tried in vain to get the owners to swear in Stormy Daniels as their new commissioner. All right.
Wow.
And that will take us to halftime.
Holy shit, it's halftime!
Oh, just ahead in the spotlight, so much more show as we roll into halftime. What is busting all over in June? Is it football season yet? Did Canada deport Johnny Manziel yet? The answer to these and so many other questions coming up, but right now, after the break, it's the 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia, and that is next!
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
Yes, it's halftime, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of the best play-along Seahawk-themed trivia game show on the internet. It's time for 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia. And here's your host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity. Yes, thank you, me, and welcome to another fine edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia.
Of the world!
The game that tests the knowledge of both our posse and our listeners. Our contestants are the posse themselves, Matt, Will, Dustin, and Mark. And here come the rules, baby. So here's how the trivia game works. There'll be 2 rounds of questions. Each contestant answers 1 question each round. If they get it correct, they get 1 point. After 2 rounds of questions, there'll be a final trivia question worth 2 points. If there's a tie after that, then the tie players go on to a special secret overtime question where the winner becomes reigning 12-Man Fan Jam Show trivia champion and also gets a prize chosen especially for them. As an added bonus to those listening on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel, the questions and possible answers will be displayed on your screen so you, the viewer and listener, can play along as well. If you do, please let us know how you did on the questions. Remember, there's no Googling, no phone a friend, and please, no wagering. However, there is a lifeline. Before taping this show, my 2 charming Seahawk fan children, Mosette and Little Mo, did take the quiz as well. If the contestants want to know what the kids said, they can ask that but once and only once during the entire game show and only in the first 2 rounds. Now let's get ready to play 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia. All right, those were the rules, and you gentlemen know the rules. As always, you can ask Mosette and Little Mo once during the first 2 rounds. The first group of questions, 3 of 4 of them, are about Cliff Averill, and in the second round will be about our newest guy, which is Brandon Marshall. So, Dustin, 1, 2, 3, or 4?
4.
Dustin goes 4. Matt, 1, 2, 3.
3.
Ooh. 3. You can just put that anywhere. Mark, 1 or 2?
Sorry about that. It's always something in this house that's just falling and breaking.
Always something that falls.
1.
Mark is number 1, which means that Will is number 2.
I guess that means I have to try harder.
There's an earthquake going on.
I know. We're not first, you're last. Who the hell? Are we okay? Is everybody all right?
Yeah.
I'm worried.
What?
I'm fine.
Okay. All right, here we go. All right. Mark, your question, if you're ready, is about Cliff Averill.
Okay.
And the question is, how many fumbles did Cliff Averill in the ball? All right. We try again. Hey, Mark, you ready for your question?
I think so.
How many fumbles did Cliff Averill force in his career? 30, 32, or 34?
Wow. That many?
Yes, 30, 32, or 34 fumbles Cliff Averill
I already
forced in his
missed the
career.
guy.
Wow. Okay. Well, first off, I'm officially changing my vote to a nay pertaining to the last segment because that's what I've been saying all along. I misunderstood. Anyway. Now, secondly, it finally occurred to me that your kids are better at trivia than I am. I don't know if anyone else ever got that thought, so I'm going to ask the kids.
Yeah, we did.
Wow. Going right to the kids. Mosette and Lil Mo both said 30. 30, 32, or 34. How many fumbles did Cliff Averill force in his career? Both kids said 30.
I'm going to go with the kids. I got it.
Ooh. You're going to go with the kids. Well, guess what? You should have gone with the kids because they got it right. 30 fumbles in his career he forced. It's pretty amazing.
I'm just glad that they knew it. It's remarkable.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Hey, Will.
Yes, sir.
You also have a football question.
Wow, that's a first.
About Cliff Averill. And my question about Cliff Averill is, how many career interceptions did Cliff Averill have? How many career interceptions did Cliff Averill have? 0, 1, or 2? Not known as an interception guy, of course. But how many did he have? 0, 1, or 2?
He had to have had at least one. I'm going to go 1.
He had to have at least 1. Why do you say that?
Because he played long enough and weird stuff happens.
Yeah, weird stuff does happen. Little Mo said 0. Mosette said 2. You said 1. You got it!
Woohoo! Who do you pick off?
I don't remember. I think it was with Detroit.
If that wasn't enough.
So it could have been, who knows. Matt.
Yes.
How many career sacks did Cliff Averill have? 72, 74, 76. How many career sacks did Cliff Averill have? 72?
74.
74. Mosette said 74. You said 74.
Mosette said 74.
Yeah, Lil Mo said 76, but you both said 74. Unbelievable!
Oh, she's right for once. Wow.
Woohoo! You guys are on fire.
Who are the kids?
On fire! And then it comes Dustin. Dustin, obviously, you don't have a football question.
Oh, man.
When did our national anthem officially become the Star Spangled Banner? Was it 1871, 1901, or 1931? When did our national anthem officially become the Star Spangled Banner? 1871, 1901, 1931.
I have no idea. I'll say 1901.
He has no idea, so you said 1901?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's got it right so far. Yeah. 1931.
Losers.
So, Mark, Will, and Matt have a point. Dustin, don't give up hope. We go to round 2. And we will start with Matt. 5, 6, 7, 8.
What did I do? 3, so it would be 7.
Smart Alec.
I had to think about that.
Will, 5, 6, 8.
8.
Mark, 5, 6.
5.
I know nothing about Brandon
Dustin,
Marshall.
number 6. All right, the topic is Brandon Marshall.
I know nothing about Brandon Marshall. Should have gone for 8. Damn it.
All right, Mark, question 5. Your question is, including the Seahawks, how many teams has Brandon Marshall played for in the NFL? 5, 6, or 7? How many teams, including the Seahawks, has he played for? 5, 6, or 7?
7.
He says 7. You can't ask the kids, can you?
No, I already used it.
Yeah. You said how many?
7.
You said 7. No, it's 6.
Damn.
Wow. I can only think of 4.
I agree.
Denver, Miami, Chicago, the Jets, the Giants, and then Seattle would be a 6th.
Giants and Miami.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to remember all of the stuff, so I could name a few of them. I just thought it was 7 because I knew it was pretty outrageous or unusual.
It's pretty amazing, yeah. Dustin, here's a football question.
Yay.
Brandon Marshall had a career-high touchdown catches in 2015. His career-high touchdown catches in 2015, how many did he have in 2015? Was it 12, 13, or 14? Career high touchdown catches in 2015, 12, 13, or 14?
I'll say 12. I like that number.
Good number. A lot of us do. Yeah, it's a good number. You said 12. 14.
You
14.
suck at hosting, Dennis.
I know. I had done so well, and then
You're the one getting all of them wrong.
I know.
Well, maybe he should tell me the answers ahead of time.
Google sucks.
Yeah, I could message to you, I guess.
Dustin, if it makes you feel any better, I still cringe and panic a bit when I hear that buzzer sound because I've been traumatized by
PTSD
in my life.
I don't think Dennis watches enough Jimmy Fallon.
I know. Just all of a sudden, I got one right, and all of a sudden, it was like that bad taste, and I just.
Mark has PTSD.
Oh man.
Matt,
better than other things. Go ahead,
Yes. If this is a college question, I'm out of here.
Matt, no, but it is about our American flag.
Your flag?
Our flag, yeah. The melody for the Star Spangled Banner was taken from a song from what country? England, France, or Spain?
England. It was an old drinking song.
Okay, look, you don't have to rub it in, smartass.
We still sing it.
Yeah, you're right.
We were sampling songs back then, so he's like the original Puff Daddy.
Surprise!
I knew that Moses' French reference was tongue-in-cheek, so I knew it couldn't be French.
And what kind of Spanish song is that, right? There's no whatever castanets in that thing. Okay.
Spanish Harlem.
Yeah, well
Despacito.
Taco Grande. Will.
That's an actual song too. That's Weird Al.
It is. How many seasons has Brandon Marshall had over 100 receptions? How many seasons has Brandon Marshall had over 100 receptions? 4, 5, or 6?
I will ask the kids.
Okay. Mosette said 4. Little Mo said 6. How many seasons Brandon Marshall had over 100 receptions? 4, 5, or 6? Mosette said 4. Little Mo said 6.
I'll go 5.
Split the difference, huh? Well, she gone with Little Mo, 6. 2007, 2008, 2009, 2012, 2013, 2015. So, well, guys, that was a little less. That was kind of we went from a spectacular first round to a rather craptacular second round, but it is time for the final question. All right, this is a number, high-low, and whoever gets closest without going over gets the 2 points and maybe wins, unless there's still a chance for a tie here. And if everybody's over, whoever's closest to the number gets it, of course. And the order that we are going in will be Dustin will go first, and then Mark, and then Will, and Matt will be last. All right, are we ready? Here we go. And it is about Cliff Averill. Your final question, gentlemen, for Dustin, it is this. How many career sacks did Cliff Averill have for the Seahawks? How many career sacks do you have for the Seahawks?
I'm going to ask the kids.
Kids did not answer this, so you're on your own.
All right, I'm going to ask you then. Tell me what it says on your sheet.
I don't remember. I can't read.
Son of a bitch.
It'll come back to me in a few minutes, but not right now.
Was that?
The reading will come back to me in a few minutes, but not right now.
Okay, I'll say 35.
He'll say 35. Mark?
I'm going to go 43.
43. Will?
I will go 45.
45. Matt?
31.
31. All right. We have a winner. No, or do we? No, wait. No, we have someone gets 2 points. I shouldn't say winner because it could tie, right? I take that back. We have an answer. The career sacks that Cliff Averill had for the Seahawks is 34 and a half. Yes! Dustin was a half over, and that means that Matt did it again.
Oh, man. Wow.
That's worse than Will's answers. He's usually like at least a point off. Half a point off.
Wow.
Wow. That might be a replay review down the road, Dustin. You can file
half
an appeal.
A sack, 34 and a half. And the thing is,
that last year, he had 1 sack before he got hurt. So he would have had 34 before that. Oh, congratulations, Maddie. Order that trophy. There it is. Order it up.
Here it comes from Amazon.
Oh, hey, this has been another crowd-pleasing, heart-stopping, award-winning edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia.
Of the world.
Of the world. Yeah, we'll be back. We'll pick Dustin off the ground, and we'll be back with the second half of the show right after this. Sex Pistols, take us out.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
I've got a good mind to slap your fat face. You are destroying your life with that garbage.
Holy shit, it's the third quarter.
Welcome to the third quarter of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Hey, you! Yes, you grilling your weenies. Like, share, subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Join our Facebook group, 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Download us on iTunes and Podbean. Do it now before your pilot light goes out. Yes, I said grilling weenies. Ooh, who giggled? I heard somebody giggle.
No, nobody giggled.
No, nobody, okay.
Nobody giggled.
We just had amazing halftime trivia where Dustin broke a record by losing by half a point. I think that makes Will feel a little better, who's lost a few times by 1. So now, Will, you're not the closest loser we've ever had. Yeah, so. Dustin, you okay?
Fuck you guys. Great.
All right.
He's fine.
Well, okay then. Well,
he's
Dustin,
fine.
Yeah, we'll try to work on him. Have him feel a little better. This quarter, we pay homage to the loss of Cliff Averill, who retired back in May, and the impact that he made on our team and the Seahawks. Matt, what are your thoughts on Cliff Averill as a Seahawk since 2013?
Amazing. Just amazing. And such a loss for us as well, really.
Yes.
Well, we talked a little bit about all the stats, and we don't want to go through all of the stats, but I mean, some of those numbers just make you sit there and realize what an incredible player he was back there, and it's difficult to see, past that, So it's like, who are we going to replace him with? Knowing you had, it's a bit like having Earl Thomas as well. You've got Earl Thomas floating by the background. You feel safe because you've got Earl Thomas floating around. You felt safe because you had Cliff Averill floating around. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's a huge loss for us, that game in Indianapolis. Oh, sorry, the game against Indy where he was injured. That was like, heart stopping. I'm very sad for him. Gonna miss him.
Very sad. An amazing defensive lineman. Dustin, what will you remember about Cliff Averill?
He was great. Him and Michael Bennett came over to the team the same year, at the same time on those 1-year contracts, kind of a proven thing, and they both really proved it. And that was, I think, in my heart of hearts, I know that the reason why we didn't win that second Super Bowl had nothing to do with Russell Wilson's throw. Mm-hmm. I think it had more to do with the fact that Cliff Averill went out with a concussion.
Yeah.
I think if Cliff Averill would have been in that game, the entire landscape would have changed and it would have been different. I think he was that important to the team at that time. Agreed. And he's a great player. He was a great guy. It's fun to listen to on interviews. He's actually doing radio now here in the area. And I'm glad that he got out when he did instead of trying to force it and come back, because I'm glad that he's going to have for his quality of life. I'm glad that happened. So I wish him the best and thank him for everything he did for the Seahawks. And that Super Bowl was awesome.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. Mark, what's your thoughts?
Probably one of the most underrated players for his position in the last, I don't know how many years. And part of that is because he was so humble. I mean, it's so rare to find humble athletes. I know that the media is what it is, and it can really take somebody's image and distort it to another universe. But I mean, he's a great guy, and he's so humble that maybe if he was a loudmouth and played for the Jets or the Giants or whatever, he would have probably gotten a lot more recognition. But he was in Detroit and Seattle, but it fit his style. He was a humble guy anyway. So I'll just remember the humbleness on top of all the numbers that he has.
He was a very humble man. He was indeed. Will?
Well, the really great players, I like to say, do something better than you've ever seen before. And with Cliff Averill, it was just the strip sack.
Yes.
I mean, how many times did we see him coming around the corner and just getting his arm up, and you knew that ball was coming out. And
yep.
He did that better than anybody I've ever seen. And I just remember the one game I really remember Averill standing out was the tie game a couple of years ago against the Cardinals, where our offense could not do anything, but Cliff Averill was abusing the Cardinals about as badly as their defensive line was abusing us. So that, and like everyone else said, he's a great guy, very humble, did so much for Haiti. I think how many houses has he built down there?
Yeah, amazing.
He's a great guy on and off the field. Yeah, he'll be missed.
Apparently 34 and a half houses.
Yeah.
Because he's that sack. But and you know, it's funny because you see the guys coming, and when he got here, all of a sudden everyone started going after quarterbacks with their arms sticking out like he does. Like he's taught them all how to do that swim, whatever it is, you know, fumble, reach for the ball as you're reaching for the quarterback move that he was known for when he got here. And that's amazing. I know for me, you know, you look at that team of 2013, that amazing Super Bowl champion team, and how great they were. Where you put him on that list is probably not high enough when you start talking about Sherman and you start talking about Chancellor, you start talking about Legion of Boom, and then you got, you know, Wagner, and you've got Bennett, and you've got, you know, where all these guys fit. I'm sure that Averill's not high enough on that list wherever he is. And I remember when he got hurt, and I agree with Dustin that said he's probably one of the reasons for sure that 49 didn't turn out the way it should have. Was because he was taken out. But I remember thinking, oh, well, O'Brien Schofield will be fine. And he certainly was not fine. And Averill was really just destroying their line up to that point. So the fact that Harold Simon had to cover, I know was a big deal. But I think if Averill had been there, Brady wouldn't have 10 seconds to throw it over there either. So
we were 10 points up when Averill had to leave the game. We were 4 points down 2 drives later. So
Exactly. And just always pictures of him smiling. He seems like a wonderful guy. He was a Purdue grad from over here in Indiana, so he got that going for him. Amazing story of a guy that was on a team that was 0-16, and then one of the most dominant teams, I would say, in Super Bowl history, as far as destroying a record-breaking offense, 43-8.
I think the score says that as well.
Yeah, pretty much. And so going from 0-16 to that is an amazing story. I was also thrilled to see that he right away went into Seattle radio right away, which is great, which shows that he how much he loves the area, which is also great. We're going to miss him. He's a wonderful person, a wonderful player, and I'm glad he's still in the Seattle area. So, Cliff, thanks for everything.
I'm glad he's not still trying to play and potentially hurting himself more, though. I mean,
and that we can kind of segue before we end the quarter a little bit into the other guy that's had that issue, and that's Cam Chancellor. At the time we were recording this, he is going to undergo more testing on his neck. Matt, do you think we'll see Cam Chancellor play for the Seahawks ever again?
I don't know. I mean, again, this is one of those moments where you've got to sit there and almost put a different hat on and say, the Mr. Sensible hat comes on and says, I don't think we should. I think neck injuries are not, Dustin will tell you all about this, but neck injuries are not something that you can play this sort of sport in for very long anyway. And I just think that, at the end of the day, sport is sport, but your life is a much longer thing to take care of. So as much as put my fan hat on, I'd love to see him. I'd love to meet the enforcer out there doing what he does. But my sensible doctor's hat goes back on, and I'm like, I would much rather hear him on the radio or in the community or doing anything other than getting hurt.
I agree, Will.
No, I don't think we'll see him play again. And like everyone else, I'm sure here, I think that's for the best. Just don't risk don't put the rest of your life at risk.
I agree, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. Cam, he's already proved everything he needs to. Even if he was short somehow in public opinion, if he came back, he could do whatever. Walk away. He's been a wonderful, amazing player, and there's a lot more that he's going to do beyond football and be as healthy as he can. So I've been on that one for a while. Actually, I really don't want him to play. I'll be honest. I want him to retire and ensure there's no anything further for him. So,
Dustin?
No, I don't think there's any chance he's actually going to play again. It's I think it's one of those things where it's he's doing the smart thing for him financially, because if he retires, he gets no money. Mm-hmm. So he's kind of stringing it out, doing the medical tests, and he's going to go as far as he can. And then when he's forced to retire, that'll be that. And I think he might have kind of one of those late Hall of Fame deals. He has a chance at it, kind of like this last year that we saw. Wow, can't believe Jacob Green.
Green.
Yeah, I think it'll be kind of like that, where he might not get in.
Right away.
Yeah, right away. But I think he'll get in there maybe as one of the seniors eventually, because he was just too dominant to not be in there at some point.
Well, we'll talk about that if the time comes. But I will tell you this. I think it appears to me from what I've seen over the years that Cam Chancellor has an incredibly huge amount of respect from the rest of the NFL. So I bet it's rather sooner than later. But we can talk about that another time. Just from the standpoint that I think the NFL thinks a lot more about him than we think they do. I think the NFL really respects him, and I think really respects the way he plays and as far as what he's done. But we'll talk about that maybe at another time. We'll go ahead and third quarter here.
It's the end of the third quarter, bitches.
And that is the end of the third quarter. Coming up next, we're going to talk about Brandon Marshall and maybe a little bit about Earl Thomas at the end. You are listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, now gluten-free. We'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. This is Statsman Mark. And when I'm not listening to Charo's greatest hits on 8-track tape, I'm listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
Holy shit, it's the fourth quarter.
Oh, yes, it's time for the fourth and final quarter of episode 605 of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. In this quarter, we're going to look at the possible impact of a Seahawk coming into Seattle. That would be Brandon Marshall in 2018. Signed a deal, a pretty cap-friendly deal where if he doesn't make the team, we're out, $80,000 or something like that. And if he does make the team and he hits everything, he's only going to cost us $2 million. So here's a little background. In 2011, he was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. In 2016, ESPN reported that Marshall and Sheldon Richardson, remember him? At the time, two of the Jets' biggest stars had a loud verbal altercation in the locker room. 2014, while playing for the Bears, he defended himself against allegations surrounding his arrest on suspicion of domestic abuse and misdemeanor battery back in 2007 and 2008. In 2009, his Broncos suspended him during the preseason for insubordination. If you ever saw the video of him at practice in the Broncos in 2009, look it up. It's spectacular. There's a thing where they're going down and they're supposed to turn right, catch a ball, turn left, catch a ball, turn right, catch a ball, turn left, catch a ball, right? Every time he gets the ball, he just bats it down. Bats it down. Bats it down.
I'd forgotten that.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's him. Yeah. The prosecutors had accused him of being his then girlfriend in 2009. 2008, the league suspended him for 3 games for domestic violent issues. An appeal dropped the suspension to 1 game. So the guy has a lot of baggage in his past. However, he did come in. He admitted it. He faced it. He said he's made a lot of changes, both with therapy, with medication, with other things. We'll see. I mean, he seems excited to be here. He's playing the game. He's wearing the jersey. We'll see what happens. But what kind of impact, Dustin, could Brandon Marshall bring to the Seahawks?
To be honest with you, I don't think he's going to have a lot of impact. To me, it's kind of a TO move where they just bring in a vet and see what happens. I don't expect him to be on the team, in all honesty. So,
okay, so you're not even worried about it.
If he's on the team, to me, that says maybe Amaro Darboh just sucked and couldn't get it done.
You think that's why they're bringing him in? They kind of bring in a little flag burn a little fire under the new guys?
Yeah, or maybe Tanner McAvoy will be out or something. I don't know. Yeah. But if he makes the team, I'd be honestly a little surprised.
Yeah. Matt, what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
Well, I think the main impact it'll have is that all the nightclubs in Seattle will end up with more security on the doors. I think that's the first thing that's going to happen.
More security for Seattle.
Didn't he get stabbed?
No, that was...
No.
I think that was Moss that stabbed
I'm sure he was stabbed by his fiance.
That could
in
be.
the stomach. Sure.
Oh man, hopefully he had self-defense classes.
Well, he's the one. Well, he's the one who's. I mean, him and his fiance just don't get on.
Well,
so.
Matt, let's just break. Do you think he'll make the team? Let's just start there.
No.
Because okay, you don't think he's gonna make it even?
I don't think so. I think for me, again, just like Dustin said, this is a vet that brought in just in case things don't work out. I don't think he'll be there very long.
Okay. Well, what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
I mean, I'm not going to write the guy off until I see what he can do in training camp and preseason. He's definitely coming in with something to prove. We've done pretty well signing guys to prove it deals. And
we have.
And again, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't cost us much. But I wouldn't write the guy off so quickly.
And the caveat, though, is that he's 35 years old and coming off of injured seasons. That's the thing that throws me off.
But Mike Williams, right? I mean,
Mike Williams wasn't that old.
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, we got one good season there.
We got one good year out of him.
Statsman Mark, your thoughts?
First I do want to say, I like Brandon Marshall's story in terms of bringing to light something that has to be really difficult when you're a public figure and go, hello, everybody, I have this disorder. Right. And it affects me personally because my friend who passed had the same disorder. So, it's something that I really like that he, if nothing else, is going to bring positive light for talking about it and everything else. But in terms of a player, no, I don't. I agree. When I really think about it, I'll be relatively surprised if he's on the roster. But I just think I'd much rather have us develop another receiver. And if Amara, whoever, I mean, it seems I still get I don't know. I still feel like we waste too much time, but whatever. Regardless, I'd rather develop a younger guy in terms of a roster spot.
I understand that. But this guy's 6'5", though, guys. So you get down the end zone. I mean, even if it's just for that.
Here's how I see if he makes the team. Honestly, regardless of Darbo. All right, so Anquan Bolden, he's a dude that ended up. He was a good receiver, had a long career. Last few years, he couldn't get separation to save his life.
Yeah.
But you put the ball in a spot, and he found a way to get open when the ball got there, and he made catches.
Yeah.
If Brandon Marshall can find a way to channel his inner Anquan Bolden,
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, then the dude will be there. But that's a big thing to expect from somebody because not a lot of players can do that. So we'll see what happens.
No, we'll see. It's what I love about it is it's less than $100,000 if he doesn't make team. So it's a great contract, and if he does well, it's only going to cost us $2 million, which it's going to be a bargain either way. It's another one of those low risk, high reward things where we risk virtually nothing, and if we get something, man, look at that, for $2 million, we're getting a decent player. So I'm all for it. I don't know if he'll make the team or not. I'm kind of with you guys. There's such a logjam at receivers. I think you're right. I think it's more of this kind of a lighting a fire under the young guys and say, don't think that you've made the team just because Richardson's gone. And I think that's a good thing to do. McAvoy struggled last year. Lilmo and I were just talking about McAvoy. And I said, last year was an awful, awful year for McAvoy. He cannot afford to have a preseason like the season he had last year. And if he does, I don't know how much longer you hang on to him. Even, because we have so many receivers. We got 12, did I see? At this point?
And some of those undrafted guys they brought in also have size as well. So if we end up having a Doug Baldwin at 6'4" this year, I mean, bye-bye to Marshall and McAvoy probably.
So yes, please.
Exactly. And we'll close with this. Sad news. We don't know anything any more than anybody else, of course, but Earl Thomas... will he stay? Will he go? The trade talks have seemed to have died down, but now is he going to sit out? Will, what are your thoughts on Earl? What do you think is going to happen?
Earl's an impulsive guy. I mean, he could have his mind made up and then wake up the morning in minicamp and say, oh, no, I'm not going to come in after all. Or he could have his mind made up that he's holding out and wake up and say, no, I'm going to report. Yeah. So if he's not here, you just treat him like he's injured and move on and play some of the younger kids. You got to take whatever comes.
So you're in Earl's head. Is that what you're telling me? You're in his head?
No.
Okay, you're not.
I don't think anybody. Earl Thomas, short of Marshawn Lynch, Earl Thomas is one of the most enigmatic players we've had here.
He's an enigma wrapped in a riddle. Dustin, your thoughts on Earl Thomas? Where do you think he's going to wind up?
Yeah, in Seattle. Maybe
hope.
not for training camp necessarily, but game 1 he'll be there. I have no doubt about that.
Okay.
I know Sherman's been telling him to hold out and all that BS, but I mean Sherman's a division rival now, so of course
Thank
he's gonna put that in his ear.
Yeah, can we not, can we make it official? Is Sherman no longer on the team? Because I know it's a business and all, but he keeps coming back and talking about the Seahawks and talking to Seahawks players. He's a 49er now.
Yeah.
So let's go to a 49er
there's
podcast.
An ulterior motive there between.
You think?
Yeah, wanting
You think?
Thomas to hold out.
Yeah, I wonder.
On a side note about the whole Sherman thing, I got a buddy at work who, same guy that asks me dumb questions all the time. God, just good for him. He's paying attention at least. Doesn't know what he's looking at, paying attention. He's like, man, I can't wait to see Sherman line up against Baldwin. I'm like, Baldwin plays in the slot. Sherman his whole career is pretty much played outside, so I don't know that's going to happen. I was like, unless 49ers decide to have him just mirror the best receiver. That's the only way that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But against Sherman in the slot, Baldwin would torch his ass.
Yeah, he would.
Oh, just really quick, though. It would be fun if Brandon Marshall comes in and actually plays really, really well and makes the team. Seeing Marshall going up against Sherman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now
Cool.
Marshall's on our team and Sherman's on the other. It'd just be fun.
That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
because of that game a couple years ago.
Yeah, right.
Marshall in the first half, Sherman
Yeah.
on the second half. That was good.
Yeah, that was fun. Maddie, your thoughts? Earl Thomas?
I don't think he's going anywhere, but I agree with Dustin. I think he probably won't be at camp, but I agree he'll be there from game 1. I think he's going to make a point now. This is the point in his career where he needs to make maximum money.
Yeah.
Dallas didn't do what I think he thought Dallas were going to do, or at least the numbers didn't stack up, or they didn't. Didn't they offer something stupid like a 7th round pick or something ridiculous?
Third round pick.
Third round, something stupid. So that didn't happen the way he thought it was going to happen, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, this whole Richard Sherman talking to his ear, just change numbers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, amen to that. Assassinate Mark, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Thomas will end up, playing for us. It'll be interesting. Although, as Dustin mentioned, he's very spur of the moment. So when he's playing, he'll be professional. But part of me, I'll wonder if part of his heart just isn't really, with the team in a way. Like maybe he had wished that he was able to get traded or whatever. Yeah. But when he plays, I mean, he's a consummate pro and he's a Hall of Famer.
I think
that's the thing.
And he'll have all the motivation in the world. He'll want to get the big bucks the following year.
Yes.
Right.
Seattle the following year.
Right. And on that one, I would not extend him to, a brand new, $40 million guaranteed deal.
No.
I wouldn't, but for the time being, I mean, it's always nice to have him around. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's probably the one guy in any Seattle team or any team I've ever watched where if his heart isn't with the team, that doesn't bother me because his heart's with the game.
Yeah.
And he's all about film and he's all about working hard and he's all about making plays on the field.
He
So
wouldn't let
he's going to
himself
do that.
down. He'd let himself down. He wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Yep. We're
good
talking
stuff.
about a guy. We're talking about a guy who actually ran up to Red Bryant and headbutted him.
Yes,
That's a good
That
point.
says it all.
I misread.
Oh, we all misread. Oh, I missed this too, guys. But it is time, it looks like, to bring another wonderful and amazing 12-man fan jam show to a sad close. We are so glad you decided to waste some time with us. We certainly hope you laughed a little and maybe you just learned a little something along the way. What did we learn in this episode? Well, we learned that when it comes to trivia, Mark has post-traumatic stress disorder. Every time he hears the wrong answer buzzer. We'll work on that for you.
You're not going to zap me, are you?
No, we won't. We learned that if you go to a celebrity softball game, you should take a net and put it in front of you, especially if you're pitching. We also learned that Dwight Clark had a huge heart when it came to getting paid. And we also learned that Mark channels his Roger Goodell, but he needs to prepare to channel his Richard Dreyfuss. So, on behalf of my partner in crime, Matt, our Newshound Shadowhawk Will, Statsman Mark,
Think of
Dustin
something.
Escobar. There it is!
No, I had to sneak that in. No. Wait, this show's ran way too long.
Statsman Mark, Dustin is the Beavers, Roger Goodell, Mozette, Little Mo, Cliff Averill, Brandon Marshall, Stormy Daniels,
This is Moses saying until next time, go Hawks!
Go Hawks!
Go Hawks!
Go Hawks!
Think of something. Think